નમસ્કાર, હું આદર્શ છું. વેલકમ ટુ આદર્શ એજ્યુકેશન સોસાયટી.
Standard 8 Subject Science Chapter 11 Force and Pressure. Dear students, in the last video we have seen that, or we have discussed that force can change the shape of the objects. So you know that having performed many of the examples or many of the activities, we would have realized that, we would have realized that, or we know, they come to know that force can make an object move from rest. See, what you have noticed, force can, for example, this is the object. So when you are applying the force, then only it moves. Otherwise, as it is, it will not move. This is one thing we have noticed. And another question is, may change the speed of the object if it is moving. Suppose if it is moving speedily or something comes, then suppose we say may change the speed of the object when it is moving. Okay, when it is moving, if you hit it more, then speed will be increasing. Then next one is may change the direction of the motion of the object. Suppose if it is moving, so something comes here, or then it should change the direction. May change the direction of the motion of the object. Then fourth one, may bring about a change in the shape of the object. Suppose when it is applied force more, then shape may change, or shape is changing. Okay, so these are the things, these are the effect of the force. So what are those? Again I will revise. Force can make an object move from rest. Force can change the speed of an object if it is moving. Then force may change the direction of the motion of an object, and force may bring about a change in the shape of the object. Okay? While force may cause one or more of these effects. Say one or more of these effects. So, it is important to remember that none of these actions cannot take place, or none of these actions can take place without the action of the force. Without the action of the force, it will be not possible. Thus, an object can't move by itself. The object cannot move by itself. It cannot change the direction by itself, and its shape also cannot change by itself. So these are the observations we have seen. Now today we see contact force and non-contact force. So what is meant by contact force? Contact force means the force that can be applied only when it is in contact with the object. See, for example, force is in object. For example, this is, okay, this one, when you apply it as it is, it will not move. It should contact, or you should take something. Okay, you can take the pen or some other things you have to take, then only that is object is moving. So that you are saying the contact. See, force that can be applied only when it is in contact with the object. So if the object contacted, then only the object will move. And here some of the actual terms, muscular force and friction, these are the examples of contact force. We will see that. See, for example, muscular force. See here, can you push or lift a book? See, can you push or lift a book lying on the table without touching it? Without touching it, can you lift? No. Can you lift the bucket of water without holding it? No. So generally, to apply a force of the object, your body has to be in contact with the object. Is it right? Correct or what? So the contact may also be with the help of the stick, or it may be rope or anything. So when you push the object like a school bag or lift the bucket of the water, where does the force come? Where does the force come? So this force is caused by the action of muscles. See, there is a force resulting due to the action of muscles is called as muscular force. Okay, got the idea, students? Okay, now one more the example is asked here. For example, the process of digestion of the food, the food gets pushed through the alimentary canal. So this is also due to the muscles force, due to the contraction and the expansion of the muscles movement, the food is goes. So this is a muscular force. And animals also make use of the muscular force. See, animals are also using the muscular force to carry out their physical activities or even do the other works. Say, for example, bullocks, horses, donkeys, and camels are used to perform various tasks to carry the load or to dig the ground, and these are all they are using the muscular force. So, the muscular force of animals is used to carry out many of the difficult works or difficult tasks. Since the muscular force can be applied only when it is in contact with the objects. See, muscular force also, without contact with the object, it is not possible. See, either it may be thread or it may be rope or it may be sticks, something should be there. So that is why it is a contact force. The muscular force is an example of contact force. Okay, got? Now, we'll go for friction. So what about the friction now? You see the definition. It is the force that resists. Resist means oppose. R-E-S-I-S-T, resist. The motion. Resist the motion. When the surface of one object comes in contact with the surface of another. Say, for example, a ball rolling along the ground. Say a ball is rolling along the ground, gradually slows down, and finally comes rest. See, suppose when you are throwing the ball, when you have thrown the ball, automatically you will see that it will stop. So after some distance it moves, then automatically stops. So when you stop the pedaling a bicycle, see bicycle also, we stop pedaling the bicycle. Okay, comes to stop. So this is also. So next one is a car or a scooter also comes to rest once its engine is switched off. Similarly, a boat also comes to rest if you stop rowing it. So these are all the examples of friction. Okay, in all these situations, no force appears to be acting on the objects. Yet their speed gradually decreases. No force can be observed at their speed gradually, but even though gradually speed decreases and they come to rest after some time. So dear students, what causes a change in that state of the motion? So what? Can you guess it? So this is due to the friction. Okay, the force responsible for changing the state of the motion of the object in all these examples is the force of friction. So it is the force of the friction between the surface of the ball and the ground that brings moving ball to rest. Similarly, the friction between the water and the boat also brings to stop the rowing. So, the force of the friction always adds all the moving objects, and this direction is always opposite to the direction of the motion. So in this way, for example, suppose this is the moving ball, suppose this is moving on the earth's surface, the force of the surface of the earth is opposing in the opposite direction. So that is why certain distances it moves, then finally it stops. So this observation we are seeing. Since the force of the friction arises due to the contact between the surfaces, it is an example of, so that is why it is an example of contact. Because this is due to the contact of the surfaces, one surface to another. Okay, that is why it is an example of contact forces. So now you learn contact force. Say what is force, contact force, muscular force, and friction is an example of contact force. Now we will discuss about the non-contact force. The force that can be applied without contact with the other objects. So without contact, say for example here magnet we have taken. See magnet, you know that. Say magnet, we have taken the two magnet. Okay, like this, two magnet we have taken. See, like this way. So this is the two magnets. Okay, like this. Just you guess it. This is the okay north and north pole. To bring it, this moves like this. Suppose north and south it comes, then it sticks. So without applying the force. So that is we are saying non-contact force. So what you are saying? Non-contact force you are saying here. Okay, so magnet is an example of magnetic force is an example of non-contact force. Now see here given take a pair of bar magnets, place longer side of the one of the magnets over three round shaped pencils or even wooden rollers. Now bring the one end of the magnet near the end of the magnet placed on the rollers. So you know that bring the other end of the magnet near the same end of the magnet. So what happens? You know that observing the attraction and you will observe the attraction and repulsion. So now one more thing here, the force exerted by a magnet on a piece of iron. So this is also a non-contact force. So attraction and repulsion between the object can also be seen another form of pull or push. So this is also what you are saying. The magnet can exert a force on another magnet without being in contact. So without being in contact with it. So the force exerted by the magnet is an example of non-contact force. Okay. Now next one is electrostatic force. So what do you mean by the electrostatic force? The force exerted by a charged body on another charged or uncharged body is called as electrostatic force. For example, if you are moving the comb and bring near the stage pieces of paper, the papers are moving. So this is an example of electrostatic force. See here you can take another example. A straw is to be a required electrostatic charge after it has been rubbed with the sheet of the paper. So such a straw is an example. When you have done like this forces, so this is the charged body. The force exerted by the charged body on another charged or uncharged body is known as electrostatic force. So this force comes into play even when the bodies are not in contact. See, right? Understand? Electrostatic force, even this comes without the contact of the body. So the electric force therefore is another example of non-contact force. So that is why this is another example of the non-contact force. So what the idea is, students? See now some of the here given some of the say now what is the another example? Take a comb and rub the free end of the suspended like this, and again bring the piece of the paper nearby them so that sticks. So these are nothing but these are the examples of electrostatic force. So what the idea, students? So what we have discussed today's points. Today's point is what do you mean by contact force? Say force that can be applied only when it is in contact with the object. Only when it is contact with the object. So that is called as a contact force. And the examples, say muscular force, muscles we are using, this is contact with the object. Say muscular force, the force resulting due to the action of the muscles is called as muscular force. And friction, okay, now I told you the ball example or even many of the examples we have discussed. So it is the force that resists. Resist means opposing the motion. When the surface of one object comes in contact with the surface of another. See, here also you are observing the contact. So that is why these are all examples of contact force. And here, non-contact force that can be applied without contact with another. For example, magnet. So magnet without contacting, that force is creating there. Okay, and shows attraction and repulsion. So this is an example of the what you are saying, magnetic force is an example of non-contact force. And next one is electrostatic force. The force exerted by a charged body on another charged or uncharged body. So that is called as electrostatic force. So this can do your experience of yourself So just comb you have to rub it and bring the near the piece of paper. So then you will observe that. So you will observe that pieces of papers are moving. So this is an example of electrostatic force. Okay, dear students. Now some of the other forces. So gravitational force and pressure. So this all we will discuss in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you for joining us.